Now I'm going to discuss how we would look for a new law. In general, we look for a new law by the following process. First,
you think you know what gravity is? You drop a rock, it falls, you jump up, you come back down. The earth pulls on the moon, the sun pulls on the earth. It's an invisible tether, a rubber band connecting every piece of matter in the universe. Fine. Newton gave us the math for it over 300 years ago, and it works beautifully. If you want to put a satellite in orbit or land a rover on Mars, Newton's equations are all you need. Gravity is a pull. But what is it? How does the Earth actually reach out across 240,000 miles of completely empty dead space and physically grab the moon? What is the rope made of? Newton himself hated this question. He called it action at a distance and admitted he had absolutely no idea how it actually worked. He just knew the math worked. Most people don't care. They just accept it. Gravity pulls you down. That's just how reality is. But when you really ask how it works, when you dig into the absolute bedrock of physics, you discover something so strange, so completely contrary to everything your body feels every single day, that it shatters your understanding of up and down. Gravity isn't a force, and it definitely isn't pulling you down. Let me show you what I mean. Let's start with a thought experiment. Einstein was famous for these. Imagine you are trapped inside a small windowless box, an elevator car. You are holding a pen. You let go of the pen, and it falls to the floor at exactly 9.8 meters per second squared. You feel your own weight pressing heavily into the soles of your shoes. You would naturally say, I am sitting on the surface of the earth. Gravity is pulling me and the pen down. But what if you aren't on Earth? What if you are out in deep space, millions of light years away from any planet or sun or gravitational field? But attached to the bottom of your windowless box is a rocket. And that rocket is pushing you upward, accelerating at exactly 9.8 meters per second squared. Think about what happens when you let go of the pen in that accelerating box. The pen doesn't fall. The pen just hovers right there where you left it in empty space. It's not being pulled by anything. But the floor of the box is accelerating upward. The floor rushes up and smacks into the pen. To you, standing inside looking at it, it looks exactly like the pen fell. And you feel your weight pressing into your shoes, not because you are being pulled down, but because the floor is actively pushing you forward. Einstein realized something absolutely profound here. He realized that there is absolutely no experiment you can do inside that box to tell the difference between sitting perfectly still in a gravitational field and accelerating upward in empty space. They feel identical. They look identical. Think about what that actually means. Your body cannot tell the difference between gravity and acceleration, because to the universe there is no difference. Acceleration and gravity are two words for the exact same physical reality. They are identical twins. And Einstein made a terrifying leap of logic. He said, if they behave exactly the same way, maybe they are the exact same thing. Now, here is where it breaks your brain. Let's go back to the accelerating box in deep space. Imagine you take a laser pointer and you shine it horizontally across the room, from the left wall to the right wall. Light takes a tiny fraction of a second to cross the room. But remember, the box is accelerating upward. So by the time the light hits the right wall, the wall has moved up slightly. To you, standing inside the box, the beam of light appears to bend downward. It curves toward the floor. But remember Einstein's leap, the equivalence principle. If acceleration and gravity are the exact same thing, then a gravitational field must also bend a beam of light downward. But wait, that is a massive, glaring problem. Newton's law of gravity says that gravity is a pull between two masses. The Earth has mass, the sun has mass, but light, photons, have absolutely zero mass. Nothing. Zip. If you plug zero into Newton's equation, the force of gravity is zero. A magnet can't pull on wood. The Earth cannot pull on light. So, if light has no mass, how can gravity possibly bend it? This is the discrepancy. This is the moment where the clockwork universe falls apart. If gravity can bend massless light, then gravity cannot be a pull between masses. It has to be something else entirely. Einstein realized that space is not just an empty stage where things happen. It is not a void. Space and time are woven together into a physical, flexible, dynamic fabric. Space-time. And mass doesn't pull on other mass. Mass bends the fabric of space-time. Think of a trampoline. You place a heavy bowling ball in the exact center. The fabric sags. It creates a massive dip in the middle. Now you take a small glass marble and you roll it across the trampoline. The marble doesn't roll in a perfectly straight line. It follows the curve of the fabric. It spirals down toward the bowling ball. The bowling ball isn't reaching out and pulling the marble. There is no magnetic attraction. There is no invisible rubber band. The marble is just trying to go straight, but the geometry of the space it is moving through has been warped. But the trampoline is just a flat, two-dimensional picture. To really see it, you have to imagine this warping happening in 3 dimensions, actually 4 dimensions. The Earth is dragging space and time itself inward from all directions. It's like a massive sponge pulling the very fabric of reality toward its center. This is what the Earth does to the space around it. The Earth creates a massive dent in the fabric of the universe. When you drop your pen, the Earth is not pulling on it. The pen is just coasting. It is following the natural, straightest possible path through a curved universe. It is freely falling along the invisible geometry of space-time. Light bends around stars for the exact same reason. The light is just going straight, but the space it is traveling through is curved. But here is the most terrifying, mind-bending part of all of this. If the falling pen is just coasting on its natural path, what about you? Right now, you are sitting in a chair or standing on the floor. You feel a heavy force pulling you down. But remember the box in deep space. Remember the equivalence principle. You are not being pulled down. When you jump off a diving board, you suddenly feel weightless. Why? Because you finally stop resisting the universe. You are in free fall. You are finally moving along your natural path. Weightlessness isn't the absence of gravity, as weightlessness is the absence of the ground pushing against you. The natural path for your body right now, the path that the curved geometry of the universe is begging you to take, is free fall, straight toward the center of the Earth. The only reason you are not falling is because the floor is in the way. Think about how incredibly weak gravity actually is compared to the other forces of nature. The entire mass of the Earth, 6 septillion kilograms of rock and iron, is curving space-time, begging you to fall to the core. But a thin plank of wood on the floor can stop it dead in its tracks. The atoms in the floor, bound together by the fierce strength of electromagnetism, are resisting the curvature of space-time. The electrons in the wood repel the electrons in your shoes. That tiny electromagnetic repulsion is stronger than the space-time curvature generated by an entire planet. The ground is literally actively accelerating upward against your feet. You feel heavy, not because gravity is pulling you down. You feel heavy because the Earth is physically pushing you up out of your natural path through space-time. This avalanche of discovery, from Newton mapping the orbits of the planets, to Einstein imagining a man trapped in an elevator, to astronomers eventually pointing their telescopes at solar eclipses and measuring the bent light of distant stars, completely destroyed the illusion of the everyday world. Gravity is not a force. It is the shape of the universe. You are living your entire life strapped to the surface of a giant rocky spaceship, and that ship is constantly, relentlessly accelerating outward, pushing against the soles of your shoes. And the fact that we can figure this out, that a man sitting quietly in a patent office could just think about elevators and beams of light and completely rewrite the fundamental structure of reality. That is the beauty of physics. Not comfort, not simplicity, truth.